So, your IT department insists their dashboards are perfectly green. Everything is fine, so why do your enterprise apps still feel, agonizingly slow?
Right. It's a huge frustration.
Yeah. Welcome to today's deep dive. We are uncovering that massive gap between what IT actually measures and what you, the user, really experience. Okay, let's unpack this with an analogy.
I love a good analogy.
Right, so think of traditional network monitoring like a high-end restaurant. The kitchen, which is your IT infrastructure, might be fully staffed, perfectly organized, just humming along.
But if the waiter gets stuck in a crowded hallway, your food still arrives cold.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't care that the kitchen was perfectly efficient. You just know your dinner is ruined.
And that gap right there is the crux of the problem. I mean, the issue isn't a lack of monitoring. It is a fundamental mismatch in what's being measured.
Meaning they are looking at the wrong things.
Basically, yeah.
Right.
Traditional IT monitors device health. They verify that routers and switches are plugged in and, turned on. But users experience a complex chain of distinct services.
Right, like getting on the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, exactly. You rely on Wi-Fi association, authentication, DHCP, DNS, and firewalls, all just to open a single application. So a bottleneck in any one of those specific layers ruins the entire experience.
Even if the underlying hardware is functioning perfectly?
Exactly.
So the hardware is fine, but the app is dead. How do teams actually pinpoint the root cause in such a complex chain? I mean, where does the investigation even begin?
Well, there is a diagnostic framework for this. It comes down to 4 essential operational questions: where, when, who, or what, and why.
Okay, where, when, who, why. Let me push back on that timeline aspect, the when part. If a user complains at 2 in the afternoon that the network is down, why is when so difficult? Shouldn't IT just look at it right then and fix it?
What's fascinating here is that most network issues aren't hard failures. They are highly intermittent ghosts.
Wait, ghosts? Like they vanish?
Yeah, they often disappear before an engineer even opens the dashboard. Imagine a massive login surge right at 9 a.m. or a brief burst of radio frequency interference from someone using the break room microwave.
Oh, wow. A microwave can actually do that.
Absolutely. And by 9.15, the event is completely over. So without historical data to track those timestamp spikes in latency or packet loss, teams just waste hours trying to reproduce symptoms.
Because the network is already back to normal.
Right. They're chasing something that isn't there anymore.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. Because if these invisible intermittent drops are the real culprit, doesn't that completely invalidate what we all do when the internet feels slow?
You mean running a speed test?
Yes. Everyone immediately run the speed test. Why is that misleading?
Well, a speed test only measures sustained capacity. It's like measuring the total width of a highway. A wide highway can fit a lot of traffic, sure.
No, which sounds good.
It does. But enterprise applications don't operate like a continuous, heavy fleet of trucks. They rely on continuous micro-exchanges, small, rapid-fire requests back and forth.
Ah, so a wide highway doesn't help at all if there's a toll booth every 50 feet, slowing your commute to a crawl?
That toll booth analogy is spot on. And it really highlights why metrics like DNS response time matter so much more than raw bandwidth.
Because DNS is basically the internet's phone book, right?
Exactly. If that initial lookup is slow, it delays the entire app startup. The application appears completely unresponsive.
Even if your underlying connection is blazing fast on a speed test.
Precisely. Then you have jitter and packet loss. Those are the actual culprits behind robotic audio and frozen video calls.
I hate when that happens on a call.
We all do. And while standard protocols can recover lost packets by resending them later, a live video meeting needs real-time delivery. Late packets mean clipped, unintelligible speech.
And what about the authentication stuff you mentioned earlier?
Right, DHCP and authentication. Think of DHCP like a bouncer, checking your ID and handing you a VIP wristband.
Okay, I like that.
Your laptop might be inside the building, meaning it says it's connected to the Wi-Fi. But without that wristband, the IP address, you can't actually do anything on the network.
So it says connected, but it's totally unusable.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
incredibly frustrating for the user.
So what does this all mean for you listening? As an executive or a professional navigating this space, understanding these mechanisms shifts your entire troubleshooting paradigm.
It really does.
You can report issues more accurately. You stop chasing hardware ghosts and start correlating specific symptoms like video jitter or app startup delays directly to the problem. You move from managing boxes to managing the actual user experience.
And this raises an important question to think about. If resolving these network issues now depends entirely on analyzing the nuanced client-side user experience rather than just checking hardware health, how is this going to shift the IT industry?
That is a great point.
Right. Well, tomorrow's network engineers need to operate more like user behavior analysts than traditional hardware technicians.